Do you have a job that the average person doesn't even know exists? I maintain hiking trails in our national forests. I camp out for 8 days at a time, with 6-day weekends. While out camping, I clear down trees from the trails with chainsaws, crosscut saws, build bridges, retaining walls, drain water off the trail, fix rock landslides, cut down large trees, etc. I hike most everywhere with my crew, although we use horses and mules to carry out camping equipment. Some places require us to ride ATVs and dirt bikes, while other places are only accessible by jet boat or airplane. I love my job. I get paid $16.50 an hour. I get to live in nature damn near all year long, and I don't really have much time to spend my money. I work for the USFS. My job title is Wilderness Technician of Trails, and you can apply for jobs like mine all over the country on AskReddit.gov. Search for Wilderness Tech, Recreation Tech, or Trails Tech. Edit. Wow, I didn't think that I would ever get this many inquiries and replies. Y'all are great, extra super duper. A common question is, how can I get involved with this with no experience? A good answer is, capital A, get lucky with AskReddit.gov. Capital B, apply for an AmeriCorps volunteer position with many of the various trail work nonprofits out there, such as this quick list. The pay is not always incredible, but the skills and time spent is well worth it, just as long as building your financial portfolio isn't number one on your life goals. The nonprofits are generally interested in folks with little experience for the sole purpose of helping enthuse the next generation of conservation-minded folks. Also, I must also add that the work I do, while plenty glamorous, is dirty, physically demanding, and you will be placed in challenging physical environments that will rattle your soul. I have seen quiet, sweet, innocent women turn into cursing, spitting, vehement hellions when confronted with the task of sharpening a chainsaw in 100-degree heat with swarms of relentless mosquitoes. In the end though, if you enjoy a challenge and don't mind hard work, even the worst days on trail make the best stories for the bar. If I haven't gotten back to your PMs or questions, please continue to be patient. I only get into town every so often, and I haven't ever had so many different folks wanting to talk to me. See you on the trail. For work I get to break into hospitals and steal things. It's referred to as a physical penetration test. It's an integral part of a risk assessment, which is required under 164.308 of HIPAA. I routinely pick locks, steal access badges, impersonate medical personnel, harvest data and credentials, crack passwords, and utilize various social engineering tactics. My official title is Information Security Consultant. I have a degree in Information Systems Management, as well as CCNA, Sec+, and CISA certifications. Edit. Here's the AMA. This is one of the major failings in the world today. I think the reason I hear so many teenagers saying I want to be a chef, hairdresser, police officer, mechanic, is because they straight up have no idea what kind of jobs people do, other than their parents maybe. They don't realize what is actually out there. You have all seen on the TV or movies where the little kids bring in their parents to talk to the class about what job they do. They need to ducking do this for teenagers. People could come in and tell these kids about jobs that actually ducking exist. They might find out about something they never knew was a job, and they might enjoy. Edit. Wow. Holy it balls. Easily my top comment ever. I guess my opinion resonates with other people out there. I'm glad. I install fake vaults in people's homes. I'm a bagger at a grocery store. It's like I don't even exist. Edit. Gold, what is this? I don't even. I regulate motion pictures for the government, meaning I spend my days watching movies before they are released and reviewing pornography before it can be sold in stores or shown in booths. Edit. To those of you asking, I'd really love to do an AMA. I understand lots of people are interested and I love discussing the finer points of my job, as well as all of the crazy it I've seen. I'll need to do some checking to see if it might get me in any trouble with the higher ups. Also, I am Canadian, so you don't have to forward me your MPAA hate mail. I'm a sign artist at a well-known neighborhood grocery chain. Everything in the store is drawn written by hand. even down to the price tags on the shelves. I'm the one that wakes up at the crack of dawn to do this. Cute illustrations on the displays? Me. Awesome window paintings outside? Me. Hilarious cartoons and wall murals? All me. When I mention it to people, they have never noticed. I didn't get it, but I once applied for a job as a heritage officer. Sounded normal enough, but it involved basically going around cemeteries photographing graves and keeping a log of them. It was so unusual I was desperate for it, not to mention working alone and out in the fresh air. So what do you? Oh, you know, look at graves. My field is medical illustration. I specifically do medical legal work, so for courtroom purposes, when I travel by airplane, I just claim to be a bartender again, as it gets a little dull explaining over and over. On the plus side, I know what you look like on the inside. For a while I repaired books at a library. I think most people assume that when books get old they are thrown away and bought new unless they are collectible. Well, the composition of books in a research university's library is very different from a local branch library, and almost everything we had was collectible in some way. Not necessarily monetarily valuable, but often rare. Many early 1900s books about local economic policies and proceedings from city council meetings, and a whole lot of grad theses that had not been checked out once since their publication. TLDR. I once spent 4 hours gluing pictures of sad clowns into a book. I string tennis rackets. My only clients are the 1%ers in town. I am responsible for breaking toys and write reports about them, how they break. A totally different job from my previous job, using promotions from online casinos to earn a living and travel the world. I write instruction manuals for installing various equipment. Even the people I work with do not know what I do. When you miss your lecture and decide to listen to the online recording instead, I'm the guy who the university sends the online recording to, so I can make it sound nice, add compression, equalize it properly, make sure it's mono, remove pops, crackles and so on. Edit. Thanks a lot for the Reddit gold. Very kind. I received a large amount of comments and PMs with similar questions in them, so I'll answer them here. I make it mono because it's recorded in mono but then often saved as stereo with the mono signal panned entirely left or right. I cannot explain this. It's just dumb people higher up than me in the chain rendering it this way. So, when I get it, I make it proper mono. This also helps cut down on file size for students when they download it, because a mono render will be much smaller than a stereo render, and it really won't make a big difference on a spoken word file. On a side note, most major label vocal main takes and such are recorded in mono too. It just seems to be what you do with Vox. As for tools I use to make it sound good, I get rid of hissing and background noise by using excessive additive equalization with a narrow EQ bandwidth to find the part in the spectrum that is causing trouble, and then once I've got it sounding as bad and isolated as possible, I turn the volume on the EQ notch all the way down to -64ish to cut out the annoying noise as much as possible. If, and this does happen on rare occasions, the annoying background noises and hissing sounds and so on are in a frequency that is helping the actual lecturer's voice be heard a lot, some of the lower vocal harmonics for instance, then I'll tend to use a gator instead so that the audio goes silent when the speaker isn't talking. This can make a huge difference. Other than that, just light compression and using basic volume automation to get minimalize pops and stuff. I tend not to use one of those Audacity style sound noise profile removers as they can be pretty ruthless and remove a lot of the good content you actually want in the person's voice. Especially when the file is 2 hours plus long and a really important lecture. You don't want that happening. Those noise profile remover things are better for shorter audio clips. And for the final question, I got into the job because I'm a student at the uni, and during my honors year I made a film project that had great audio in it, and my professor noticed it and wanted me to work for him on this stuff. I already had 10+ years experience doing audio privately in my bedroom. It has been a long time obsession of mine. So anyway, I stayed on to do a law degree after finishing my bachelor's, and I got offered a job by the professors and associate professors to do sound for them on all sorts of things. Right now I'm helping produce video lectures for arts undergrads for instance. that they can download off the LMS portal and play. It may not occur to some of you, but if you work hard at uni in something that they might need, they will employ you. It's an ideal job to have while I'm a student, well paid and not too time consuming. Also, having my music played on national radio and having an EP that went to #1 on Beatport certainly helped in getting this position. Anything sound related that can boost your portfolio will help put you above other candidates for sure. All the best. Thanks. Physical hydrogeologist. I image the ground using water flows. I bounce on a pogo stick in a clown outfit. Picture. Edit. Another picture. Second edit. For the people asking, I was a professional pogoer before I got this job. I have been doing it for 8 years, and my current boss found my video on YouTube and offered me a job. Luckily I was located only about an hour and a half away and had no job at the time he contacted me. Final edit. I promise. Here is a video. For those of you who would like to see me in action. Not in the clown suit though. I am Ryan. The first guy. I lied. Another edit. The type of pogo stick is called a Vertigo. You can order them at. I work at Universal Studios in Orlando, FL. Also, really want to thank everyone for the comments on our video above. I worked hard on editing that, so it really feels nice to have people appreciate it. You all are awesome. I manage an adult literacy program. Most people think it is some sort of elaborate book club or that I am mistaken and meant to say that I teach children to read and write. Sadly my job exists because 1 in 6 adults are functionally illiterate, where I live. I work for myspace.com and I'm not Tom. I work for a superstore and they send me to a competitor across the street in plain clothes. I take a device, PDA, that holds a list of items on it. I locate the items and record the price. Every week, I'm a competitive shopper. Edit. People are asking how I got in this. They had a person doing it before me. They left the company due to health reasons and my boss offered me the position. It's not as cool as it sounds. It is boring and tedious and annoying. They alternate between 2 lists that have the same it on it aside from a couple hundred. Usually the prices don't change more than a couple pennies so it feels like a waste of time. I cut eyes out of dead people. I am an eye bank technician. I surgically remove corneas and whole eyes from donors for cornea transplants and research. I think most people don't want to know about my job. I make pig feed. They aren't just fed corn. A lot of science involved. Their diets change almost monthly with the weather so we are constantly changing the nutrients we give them. Also a little nugget that blows my mind. Pigs naturally all bite each other's tails off as a dominance thing, like squirrels do. However, simply increasing their magnesium in the diet will make them not bite each other. For some reason it has a calming effect on them. Not me, but my aunt is one of the leaders of the ski patrol at Breckenridge Ski Mountain in Colorado. One of her many jobs there is to fly around in helicopters and throw dynamite out the window in order to set off avalanches before someone does it accidentally. Edit. 1,477 likes. Not bad for a first ever AskReddit attempt. I'll be sure to tell my aunt how awesome she is for you guys. I drive tugboats. It's fun. I am an assistant for an escort service. I lost my real, and pretty good, job about a month ago. Now I schedule appointments for escorts. Most of my friends know. My mom thinks I am a personal assistant. I kinda am. I trim medical marijuana for dispensaries. I make people do a shot of Screech, kiss a codfish and say funny thing. My official job title is Screecherina. It's a tourism job for the province of Newfoundland and I do it every day over the summer. Twice a day. It's a tradition here for welcoming people to the island and is basically the best job ever. I write manuals for tanks. How to operate them. How to repair them, etc. I am an analyst at an engineering company. I run to the store, get cookies and lime diet coke every day for my boss. I do user interface design. Not only does the average person not know it exists, I can show my work to the average person and they won't see it. That's how I know when I did a good job. It sucks when software developers don't know it exists. Equine sports massage therapist. Not quite my job yet, but finishing certification in May: 3. I'm a professional prosthesis bra fitter. I fit women who have had a mastectomy, usually women who have had breast cancer. I'm an epidemiologist. When people ask what my profession is, I have to repeat it like 2 or 3 times before I just say research scientist. Edit. For ARP's change in instructions, I'm an epidemiologist. My job is to manage epidemiologic studies that include descriptive studies of the disease characteristics of the US, EU and emerging markets. Pharmacovigilance studies that seek to identify short and long-term adverse effects of drugs treatments in clinical trials. And safety research to ensure clinical trials participants are safe from any foreseeable or newly identified harms of a trial. I also develop risk management plans, coordinate retrospective analysis of EMR medical claims data and communicate our research findings to others. I graduated with a degree in political science and minored in economics. I ended up becoming a compliance advisor for a registered financial firm, the good kind. I deal with securities regulation all day and make sure we don't screw over our clients. It is a job that I really enjoy doing, has great growth opportunities, and is kind of easy to get into, since not many people know about it and are interested in it. My career has really taken off with all the regulation coming out, Dodd-Frank, and scandals, Madoff. I make 6 figures. You know, whenever you click on YouTube to watch something but then you get redirected to a 30-second ad that you have to watch? Yeah. I target and put those there, as well as those annoying banner ads that instantly display whatever you've most recently searched for. I'm a channel manager at a YouTube network. I basically get paid to watch and maintain YouTube channels all day. My job didn't exist when I was in college. I'm an ejection seat mechanic. Edit. Spelling. It was a long day. I work 3rd shift. Met a guy last week who buys the used metal dentists use for fillings and crowns, etc. Apparently dentists use a lot of precious metal. I make products look pretty for a home shopping television station. I work in nuclear power plants around the country when they shut down every 18 months or so. I go inside reactors and refurbish and test motor actuators on valves to ensure safe operating conditions. A few quick things in case anyone is curious. No, it's nothing like The Simpsons. Yes, I am exposed to radiation and no, I don't glow at night. This exposure is constantly monitored and relatively safe. It is a very well-paid job but somewhat dangerous due to safety concerns and higher levels of quality we must adhere to. I've considered the idea of doing an AMA if anyone would be curious. I am a range safety officer. I walk endless miles up and down a firing line full of grown children with loaded guns and correct them when they do stupid it. Having a loaded gun pointed at me doesn't faze me anymore. Partly because I'm desensitized, partly because I hate my job and the sweet release of death would be the next best thing to just punching my manager and quitting. Edit. I love this stuff. Really. I am teaching someone to take their own safety into their hands and become technically proficient in something not a lot of people fully understand. The downside is a shooting range with rentals is tantamount to working at a mini golf course. I am a graduate student. Even my advisor doesn't know I exist. I start on Friday as a standardized patient. Essentially, med students practice their bedside manner on me. I'm a study startup specialist. Drug companies pay me to start up a drug trial. I do all the legal ethics and regulatory submissions and find doctors to run the studies. Everything up until the patient gets the drug. Edit. I wrote this further down, but I guess it's being missed. I don't have any qualifications for my job. I started at the bottom and worked up. To come in at my position you need some kind of life science degree. Most of my colleagues have biochemistry MScs. Insert type of job here. Manager. X. I manage a group of incredibly smart people. I'm not super smart or anything myself, but those who are generally just hopeless at interacting with others in a normal way, getting work done on time, or generally following directions. They always need one normal person to keep them on track. I'm not personally changing the world, but they would never manage it without me. Managers get a bad rap a lot because the term gets used for anyone who is in charge of a team, when in fact that person is generally there because the company doesn't trust the other people. That's not managing, that's supervising. And a good manager is often a terrible supervisor. Managers are in it for their team, supervisors for the company. Actual management is extremely difficult but very rewarding in the end, and it's not a degree you need, just a skill set you can pick up almost anywhere. Edited to say, from the number of people commenting that this is like, insert TV show, that goes back to the original question. Yes, those better off TED office space IT crowd jobs actually do exist out there. I monitor offenders that are on conditional release, house arrest etc. Some of them have an ankle bracelet that locates them via GPS and others are under the voice recognition system. This is a system in where the offender gets a check-in call at random times of their curfew. There is a recorded version of their voice and this software verifies that is the same voice. If they fail the call, I call the offender and ask him/her questions to verify their identity. Depending on the risk level, I can call the police to report a breach. I sell Lego pieces. I buy bulk Lego sets, normally from Amazon or whoever else online has the best deals. Part out the pieces and list them individually on my online store. My customers are generally one of two people. Adults who want 1000 of something, but don't want to buy 100 of a set to get it, such as a red 2x4 brick to build an enormous structure. Parents whose kid wants a specific minifigure that happens to only come in a set that costs a lot of money. The kid doesn't want super duper playset number 12. He wants a gold ninja. So instead of spending $130 for the big set, they can spend $15 on just the figure, and it works out well for both of us. Generally I can part out a set for around 200-250% of its purchase price. More if I find it on clearance or in a really good sale. My wife and I also make monthly trips to our nearest Lego store one state over to buy hundreds of dollars of pick-a-brick pieces to put into our inventory. Our store is still pretty small, but there are many people who have become wealthy doing it after a lot of hard work. It requires some initial investment, willingness to run to the post office to occasionally ship a 3-cent part, and excellent customer service skills. The largest hazard of the job, your chances of stepping on a Lego in the middle of the night go up substantially when you have over 100,000 pieces in the house. I work for Cha-Cha. I think some people think I'm a robot when I'm actually not. I spent a summer balancing beer trucks. The objective job is to make sure that the beer truck is as full as possible at all times, ideally picking up on skid of empties when delivering one skid of beer. Beer truck Tetris. It's a thing. I'm an anthropologist. Yeah. I'm not even sure what I do, but apparently it matters to someone. Edit. Disclaimer is, I am an anthropologist working on my PhD. I am at the beginning of my profession. I say that my job is anthropologist instead of graduate student because my department and my advisor tells us to think of ourselves as professional working anthropologists, no longer students. I'm a public masturbator. I get paid in shrieks and anger. I edit skydiving videos. Not sure how known that is. I set up breakdown labs for the engineering department of a university, so pretty much I Reddit for 7 hours a day. I am a travel trainer. I teach people with learning disabilities how to use public transport independently. It's an awesome job. Yeah. I'm in a maintenance group that maintains fiber optic networks for Fortune 100 companies and governments. I'm an industrial hygienist. It's a type of health and safety consultant. I'm a woman in my 20s and before clients meet me, like only discuss quotes or need consultation via email, they refer to me as the mold guy, the asbestos guy, the insect guy etc. I'm the person your insurance company hires to investigate losses. You call when you have mold and don't know what to do, or when your factory may be violating a health and safety code. I come out. I'm not from OSHA. I'm a consultant. I don't care what you do on the job, but best believe I will make a recommendation in my report based on your unsafe practices. But seriously, that's all I can do, make recommendations. There are things in the world that could happen and cause civilizations to flip upside down. I write those plans for people to follow to prevent things from going tits up. Emergency management woo. Permit expediter. I get plans from architects and sign contractors and apply for permits to the city or county planning departments. We're a nationwide company, but it's literally just me and my brother running it, him mostly. Sports information. I gave up explaining what all I do and just tell people statistics. I work in audio post. When you watch a movie TV show, almost all the sounds you hear were not captured by the mics on set. Also, about half the dialogue you hear was added months later during sessions called ADR sessions. When you see booms on set, they are typically only used as a reference. We'll try to use as much production audio as possible, but it's not always possible. We'll spend hours just working with a scene where two people are sitting at a table adding the tiniest details. Last but not least, all the sounds you hear in cops, engine noise, heli blades, gunshots, sirens, maneuvers, are all fake typically. Sorry. Wildfire firefighter. I fight forest fires. And although most people in the province that I live in are very aware that these people exist, I have met lots of people that thought that regular structural firefighters did all that. Also, lots of people really don't understand how many fires there are every year. From the statistics we get, it's still about 50/50 human natural starts. People need to learn how to figure it out in the forest. I'm a commercial photographer. It's become apparent to me that everyone thinks a photographer is a photographer, which is why I've turned down about $25,000 of weddings in the past year alone. Not me, but one of my best friends writes jingles for commercials. Advertising firms fly him out to Nashville like once every other month for a week and tell him what kind of vibe they want, and he just thinks of 30 seconds of goofy to give them.